The night it happened, rain pressed against the windows like a restless heart, and Marcus Reed stood alone in his small Ohio kitchen, wondering how life had become so quiet and so loud at the same time. Quiet because the house slept early now, shaped around a child's bedtime and grief that never fully spoke. Loud because every memory echoed, his late wife's laughter, the promises they never finished, the future that collapsed into a single word, responsibility. When the message arrived, it didn't feel real at first. It felt like a strange joke from a universe that had already taken enough. But those words, urgent, desperate, impossible, would split his carefully controlled life wide open and force him to choose between safety and faith, between fear and love. Before we go deeper, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that God can use broken timing to create something beautiful, please take a moment right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep stories like this alive. Marcus was 38, a widowed single father raising his 8-year-old son Noah in a town where everyone knew everyone's pain but rarely spoke of it. He worked long hours as a school maintenance supervisor, not because it paid well, but because it kept him close to Noah's world. Every hallway he cleaned reminded him why he stayed steady, why he woke up tired and went to bed grateful. His life ran on routine, prayer, and a careful distance from hope. Hope, he had learned, could hurt. The woman who sent that message was named Abigail Turner. She lived 3 streets away, close enough to wave at during church events but far enough that their lives never crossed deeply. Abigail was 34, a nurse with tired eyes and a smile she used like armor. She had moved to town 2 years earlier to care for her aging father, a proud but fragile man whose health had declined faster than anyone expected. Marcus knew only fragments about her quiet faith, her service at the food pantry, the way she lingered after Sunday service like she didn't want to go home. What Marcus didn't know was that Abigail's world was collapsing in a different way. Her father's condition had worsened, and a looming legal matter threatened the home they shared. A clause tied to old property arrangements, stubborn relatives, and deadlines that felt cruelly precise had cornered her. In her exhausted mind, a single solution surfaced, one she hated even considering. It wasn't romantic, it wasn't planned, it was desperate. She needed stability overnight, a legal anchor that could protect her father and the life they had built. And so, with shaking hands and a prayer whispered through tears, she reached out to the one man she believed would never exploit her vulnerability. Marcus read the message again and again, his chest tight, his thoughts racing. It wasn't the request itself that stunned him, it was the trust behind it. Abigail wasn't asking out of love or attraction, she was asking because she believed he was safe, because she believed his faith was real, because she believed he would tell her the truth, even if it broke her heart. That night, Marcus sat on the edge of Noah's bed long after his son fell asleep, watching the slow rise and fall of his chest. He thought about the vows he once made, about how love had entered his life before without warning, and how it had left him hollowed. He thought about how God sometimes whispered through chaos instead of calm, and he thought about Abigail, alone in her kitchen somewhere nearby, waiting. The reply he sent wasn't clever or heroic, it was honest. Marcus told her he couldn't promise marriage by tomorrow, but he could promise presence. He told her he wouldn't step into something sacred out of fear or paperwork, but he wouldn't abandon her either. He offered to help her face the situation with integrity, lawyers, prayer, and community, even if it meant inconvenience and sacrifice. He told her she wasn't alone, and that her worth didn't depend on a deadline. What followed wasn't immediate relief, but something steadier. Abigail didn't get the miracle she thought she needed. Instead, she got something rarer, someone willing to stand beside her without conditions. Over the next weeks, Marcus helped her navigate legal help, introduced her to trusted friends, and watched over her father when she worked night shifts. Noah, shy at first, grew attached to Abigail's gentle presence, especially the way she listened like his thoughts mattered. Slowly, something unexpected happened. The urgency faded, but connection remained. Coffee turned into long walks, shared prayers turned into shared laughter. Marcus felt parts of his heart waking up, cautiously, like light entering a room long closed. Abigail, no longer drowning, began to see Marcus not as a rescuer, but as a companion, not as an answer to a problem, but as a gift she hadn't asked God for. The challenges didn't vanish. There were rumors in town, raised eyebrows at church, moments of fear when Marcus worried he was betraying the memory of his late wife. There were nights Abigail cried quietly, ashamed of the message that started it all. But through it, something deeper formed: respect, patience, and a love that grew not from desperation, but from shared resilience. Months later, when spring softened the edges of winter, the crisis that had driven Abigail to that breaking point resolved. The legal threat lifted, her father stabilized, the need that once screamed grew silent, and that was when Marcus realized something that surprised him more than the message ever had. He didn't want to step away now that the emergency was over. He wanted to stay. The day Marcus finally allowed himself to hope again wasn't marked by fireworks or dramatic gestures. It was marked by Noah's laughter in the backyard, Abigail's hands folded in prayer at the dinner table, and a peace Marcus hadn't felt since before loss rearranged his life. He understood then that love didn't arrive on demand or on deadlines. It arrived when two people chose truth over fear and faith over panic. As this story draws close, if it's touching something in you, if it reminds you of a moment when life asked too much and grace answered anyway, please take a second to like the video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement truly matters. And before the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with the word hope if you believe that God can turn desperation into destiny. In the end, Abigail never needed a husband by tomorrow, and Marcus never needed to save anyone to be worthy of love. What they needed was time, truth, and the courage to let God write a better story than either of them imagined. Sometimes the miracle isn't the answer we demand in panic, but the quiet transformation that follows when we choose compassion over convenience. And sometimes the reply that changes everything is simply this: you don't have to face it alone.